Welcome to a deep dive into what is, really the absolute frontier of personal data.
It really is.
We are going straight into this intensive self-improvement audit. It's a week in review for week 46 of 2024.
And this is not just some simple habit tracker.
No, not at all. Our source material details progress across 10 remarkably diverse projects. We're talking everything from high-level coding to backyard ecosystem management.
And even advanced cooking experiments. The challenge here is immense, and that's, why this data is so valuable for you, the listener.
Right.
We're dealing with how you manage all these goals at once. How do you actually make meaningful progress in physical health, intellectual depth, and creative output all at the same time?
So what's our mission here? What are we looking for?
We're trying to extract the universal principles.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking for those unexpected moments where a failure in one area, maybe gardening, gives you this crucial insight for success in something else, like coding.
That cross-pollination of knowledge.
Exactly. The kind of thing only this kind of rigorous tracking can really reveal.
Okay, let's unpack this then. We'll start where I think all good productivity systems have to begin.
The foundation.
The body and mind. We're diving right into health metrics, specifically this persistent goal of getting 7 hours of quality sleep a day.
And the tracking shows a clear win, at least on duration. The average sleep this week was 7.29 hours.
So, goal achieved.
Well, yes and no. This is where the nuance is so critical, right? The quality was still inconsistent. And that's a frustration I think a lot of people feel. You hit the number, but you still feel sluggish.
But the data gave us a smoking gun here. One day, the individual got a full 8 hours of solid rest.
A huge deviation from the norm.
And it wasn't because they slept in late or took something.
No, and this is a perfect example of why this kind of detailed logging is so much better than just generalized advice. The source points not to a behavioral change, but to a suggested environmental factor.
Okay.
It mentions investigating external adjustments, specifically that a simple change, like switching your pillow type, might be the key.
A pillow. That is such a fascinating, almost counterintuitive finding.
Isn't it?
We spend so much energy on complex systems, buying tracking apps, forcing early bedtimes, and the key might just be a better pillow.
It suggests we often overlook the high-leverage, low-friction stuff, the environmental factors. We assume the problem is internal, lack of willpower, when it might just be physics or comfort.
A critical lesson for anyone trying to build a new habit.
Absolutely. The tracking forces you to consider the simple external things first.
Okay, moving from rest to activity. The goal was 5,000 walking steps a day, but the tracking shows activities were unfortunately cut short early in the week.
Yeah, due to some recurring sporadic pain in the right foot. And this really highlights goal flexibility.
Right, they didn't just push through the pain.
No, they pivoted immediately. Recovery became the priority, not the step count. That is a hallmark of intelligent goal management, knowing when a failure is actually just necessary triage.
And they're not just giving up on the measurement itself.
Not at all. We see they're planning to test 2 other pedometer brands once they've recovered. So there's a dedication not just to the goal, but to the accuracy of the measurement. It speaks to that scientific mindset again.
Let's talk diet. So the individual is sticking to the 16.8 intermittent fasting schedule.
Yep, generally stopping eating around 8 p.m.
And what about the macronutrient goals?
Yeah.
The 211, 221 ratio for plants, protein, and carbs. This is where we see a classic slippage point, one that I think a lot of listeners will recognize.
Absolutely. The sources confirm that carb intake surged, and it was fueled mainly by more takeout during a busy week.
The friction of a busy schedule overwhelming the goal to prep food.
Exactly. But the key realization here is so adaptive. Despite the carb surge, their weight stayed stable. So they realized a balanced but varied diet over a whole week is way more important than hitting rigid ratios every single day. The system adapted.
That's resilience in action, and they're already adjusting the system. I see a new goal here, eating fish twice a week.
Precisely. Responding to the data, not, punishing themselves for the takeout.
Now, let's transition to the mind. Meditation duration, the sitting kind, it increased to 2 or 3 minutes most of the time. Still a bit sporadic, though.
But here's what's truly fascinating. It's the interplay between physical pain and mental focus.
How so?
The walking meditation was noted as being more mindful than usual, and the source attributes this directly to the foot pain.
The same reason they had to cut back on steps.
The very same. They had to focus just to walk comfortably.
Pain-forced presence. That is That's a profound observation. So a physical problem actually boosted a mental goal.
He did.
But that's not sustainable, is it? We can't rely on being injured to be mindful. What's the long-term solution here?
Well, it suggests the methodology is sound, but the application just needs less friction. And since the individual's mental state was noted as stoic, tranquil, and composed, the tracking itself seems to be the sustaining mechanism.
So the act of observing is what keeps the consistency.
That's it. The consistency of the observation maintains the tranquility, not necessarily the duration of the practice.
Okay, if the 2-minute meditation is the foundation, let's move on to the practical skills that support this organized state. Section 2, practical skills and the home environment.
Right.
The goal for cooking wasn't just survival, it was about gaining control and developing skills, like fast, effective vegetable prep.
And this is where that scientific mindset just shines. Instead of the standard green smoothies, they experimented with miso soup.
With vegetables and tofu, so learning a new method and also quantifying the impact.
Quantifying the impact, specifically the sodium, they noted the potential for high sodium and they tracked it.
So what did they find?
They calculated about 850 milligrams per serving for that meal. And this is a crucial data point because when you put it in context, it's not alarming.
Right, it falls within the safe daily range.
Exactly. 1,500 to 2,300 milligrams is the recommended range. So they learned a new efficient skill and also confirmed it was safe. It's like applying the rigor of technical debugging to your kitchen.
I love that connection. And I see they also picked up new egg recipes, soft boil, steamed, soupy eggs, just expanding the toolkit.
The productivity stack continues right into decluttering and minimalism, all supported by these micro habits.
Yes, these are stellar examples of just reducing that activation energy to get started.
2 key habits were tracked. Clearing one item from anywhere while on the way to the kitchen, a classic one-touch rule, and using a timer for just 2 to 5 minutes to clean.
Tiny habits.
Tiny habits done consistently that resulted in a major, tangible win.
Which was what?
Finally decluttering the front gardening workspace. This wasn't a small tidy-up. This created immediate, functional space for reorganizing plants. That level of control is directly tied to those tiny, consistent actions. It just proves that small inputs yield massive results over time.
Okay, now we're transitioning to the intellectual and creative stack. This is where the tension gets really interesting. Reading goals are a bit of a mixed bag.
A very mixed bag.
Progress is slow, but definitely on track for the guide on blood pressure, blood sugar, and blood lipids.
Right, the commitment to relevant, immediate health knowledge is clearly winning out. But then you look at the high-friction, abstract, technical reading.
And there was zero progress on testing Elixir or adopting Erlang.
Zero.
Okay, wait a minute. If this person is disciplined enough to manage 10 projects and submit daily typo fixes, why are the big intellectual goals, Elixir and Erlang, at 0? Is it the difficulty, or is the goal just too abstract?
The data strongly suggests it's the latter. Reading the health guide is immediately applicable. Starting an Elixir textbook, while ambitious, requires hours of uninterrupted focus.
Accessibility defeats ambition.
It's a universal truth. If the goal requires a long, hard mental startup, it just gets pushed aside by the smaller, immediately rewarding tasks.
The opposite seems to be true in the coding and floss contributions section, though. The goal is daily PRs to peer.
Right, and let's just clarify that for the listener. PEER stands for Python, Elixir, Erlang, Rust, and Ruby.
A highly sophisticated stack.
It is. These are languages known for robustness and scalability. The goal isn't just coding, it's staying relevant and contributing across these diverse, high-demand, free and open-source software ecosystems.
And their primary action here is just brilliant in its simplicity, hopping through GitHub repositories and submitting trivial typos, PRs.
It's maintenance of the contribution muscle, pure and simple. They know they don't have time for a huge new feature every day, but they can find a typo in the documentation and submit a fix.
Which keeps the habit loop active.
Exactly. The technical environment is engaged, and the activation energy is practically zero. It's about consistency, not revolutionary output. That's what sustains the skill.
And that same consistency seems to extend to writing and documentation. The goals are publishing 2 posts a day, reading old posts, and writing freely.
And the process detail we see is that they're still trying to optimize their own workflow, alternating between digital and analog notes. They're actively debugging their own process.
I love that.
And we see a crucial feedback loop planned. Blogging about interesting PRs or libraries, specifically based on issues they just encountered. They're using a bug fix as a direct prompt to teach others.
Okay, finally in this stack, photography. The goal is macro photography, and the tool pursuit says it all.
It really does. They are still investigating the right tools, and they explicitly mention getting a microscope for advanced macro work.
A microscope.
That decision just reflects the overall commitment to precision we've been talking about. They aren't satisfied with a standard macro lens. They're researching specialist scientific equipment. Hobbies get the same meticulous treatment as the technical projects.
Okay, let's transition to our last section. Nature projects and ecosystem management. This is where all the systems thinking gets put to the ultimate test.
A living, dynamic system. They're still brainstorming ways to optimize the yellow-blue rack for combined fish keeping and gardening.
It's a system of perpetual optimization.
Which leads us right to the outdoor pond ecology experiment. They're trying to find the right fish species for these outdoor plastic containers. And managing this microecosystem provides the most immediate, tangible, and often brutal feedback you can imagine.
And the data they got from 2 specific plants is the biggest story here. They removed 2 semi-aquatic plants based on their performance.
Exactly. First, you have the sweet potato. It flourished, maybe too much, without any extra fertilization.
Too much success led to instability.
Right, because it lured unwanted pests, whiteflies. Too much growth without a counterbalance created a whole new problem.
And the second plant was the water spinach.
The complete opposite. It failed to thrive because of a clear lack of nutrients in the water. So you have this perfectly clean scientific comparison.
One failed from excess, the other from deficiency.
One plant failed due to nutrient excess attracting pests, and the other failed due to nutrient deficiency. They're treating their ponds like living data sets.
And the lesson is immediate. Over-fertilization is just as fatal as under-fertilization. It's the ultimate lesson in environmental balance.
And it applies directly to the human system, right?
Ah.
Too much cognitive load or too little support both lead to failure. And so the plan is to just continue the experiment, investigate other species.
That scientific approach carries over to the general gardening challenges, too. New seeds were started, but only one showed promise.
And critically, they identified a clear system flaw.
Hmm.
The fourth gardening workspace doesn't get enough sunlight. So you diagnose, you adapt, you repeat.
It's also really interesting to note that the high-friction, long-term goal research on micropropagation has seen 0 progress. It mirrors the technical reading goals perfectly.
The difficulty barrier is the same, whether it's highly advanced biology or advanced programming.
This deep dive gives us an incredibly detailed picture of what successful, simultaneous self-improvement actually looks like.
It's really revolutionary, is it?
Yeah.
It's consistently incremental and, above all, observational.
So what does this all mean for you, the learner? We've seen powerful progress from these small, consistent, low-friction actions, whether it's the typo PRs, the 2-minute cleaning sessions, or the 2 minutes of meditation. And we found the most fascinating insights come from applying that critical observation across totally different fields, understanding miso soup sodium or diagnosing the whitefly problem.
The core value is that cross-pollination of lessons. The systematic approach you use to debug a Python script is the exact same method you use to figure out why your water spinach failed. Consistency in the habit of observation, no matter the field, is the definitive key takeaway.
And we noted that despite juggling 10 demanding projects, the individual found their mental state to be stoic, tranquil, and composed. So given these deep interconnections we've uncovered, from fish-keeping failures and forming observation skills to the vital importance of just changing a pillow for deep sleep, we want you to consider this. Which seemingly unrelated physical or environmental detail in your own life might actually be the bottleneck affecting your biggest intellectual goal. Maybe it's not willpower stopping you from writing that novel. Maybe it's the light bulb over your desk. The data is always there if you decide to look.